What's up guys, Keegan here with Jordan Distributors. Today we're going to be showing you step by step how to install our plug and play push to start conversion kit. I will have a list down below in the video description of the vehicles that this install guide applies to, as well as other information that you will need to reference during install. Without any further ado, let's get started. We are going to start by disconnecting the battery. From there we can move inside the car and remove the clamshell that surrounds the steering column. We will also need to remove this key cylinder trim ring. We have a few more screws to remove so that we can drop the lower dash trim out of our way. To make room, we will also need to remove both the dead pedal as well as this kick panel. The dash trim can now be pried down and out. To make this easier, we will leave the hood release cable and the wiring connectors attached and just leave it in this position. There is no need to remove it fully. If you will be installing your start button into the factory keyhole, you will need to remove the key cylinder. The key cylinder is held in place with one screw located here on the side. This is a tamper-proof screw that has no screw head. We recommend using a Dremel to cut a slit into the screw, and then you can use a flat screwdriver to remove it. If you will be installing your start button somewhere other than the factory keyhole, then you can skip this step. The key cylinder is now unfastened and is ready to be removed. To make room to get it out of the vehicle, we will need to remove the wiper and turn signal stalks. They have a clip on the top and bottom that holds them in place. Just simply squeeze the tabs and they pull right out. We can now remove these two 10mm bolts to remove this dash plate, as well as 4 more 10mm bolts so that we can move the gauge cluster out of our way. The key cylinder can now be pulled out easily and unplugged. With these components removed, we can begin the install of our kit. We will start by plugging in our plug and play push to start main harness. This harness uses the same factory connectors as the original ignition switch that we already removed. All we need to do is plug it in to the same location that we removed the original ignition switch. Next, we will need to connect the black wire to ground. We recommend using this nut located here at the brake pedal assembly. Next, we need to connect the orange wire to the brake switch. You will need to locate the brake switch connector in your vehicle. The brake switch is located here at the top of the brake pedal. It is easiest to start at the brake pedal pad itself and follow it upward until you locate the brake switch. Your vehicle may have a slightly different shape or color connector than what is shown here. Please check the chart in the top of the video description below to determine what color wire you will need to connect to in your vehicle. We are going to take this quick connector supplied with the kit and with a pair of needle nose pliers, clip it around this wire. All you need to do is line it up and give it a gentle squeeze until it clicks into place. We can now plug the orange wire from the push to start kit into this connector. Now to install the antenna. The antenna wiring is quite long, which will allow you to mount it nearly anywhere that you would like. We chose to mount it here on the back side of this lower dash panel for easy access. However, if you would like to mount it somewhere else for added security, you most certainly can do so. Last but not least, we need to install the start button itself. The wiring for the start button is also quite long, so if you would like to mount the start button somewhere other than the factory keyhole, you'll have plenty of length to be able to do so. This button, with the included adapters, will mount in the factory keyhole and requires no cutting or drilling to install it. One thing to note is the fact that these cars come equipped with an immobilizer. If you would like to install your start button in the factory keyhole like we did here, then you will need to address the immobilizer. Once you have removed the key cylinder, you'll need to remove the key transponder from the end of the key cylinder by removing the Phillips head screw. You can then secure one of your factory keys to the immobilizer and keep it plugged into the car and secure it under the dash. Please note, it will need to be fastened to the outside of this ring like shown here and not in the center. If you would like to keep the factory immobilizer functional as well as the steering column lock, then you can install your start button somewhere else and skip this step. It is worth noting that if you remove the factory key cylinder to mount your start button in the factory keyhole, then you will lose the function of the steering wheel lock. It does look nice to mount the start button in the factory keyhole, but if you would like to mount it somewhere else so that you can keep the steering wheel lock, you most certainly can do so. For an example, we are going to show mounting the start button to this dash panel. Simply mark the hole, and then with the hole saw, drill the hole for your button. We have these properly sized hole saws available on our website if you would like to purchase one. Any household drill will work just fine. If you choose to do your install this way, then the process for starting the vehicle will be as follows. Simply insert the key into the ignition and turn it one click to unlock the steering column. Then, put your foot on the brake and press the button once to start. If you choose to install your button this way, make sure that you do not, under any circumstances, remove the key from the ignition while driving. The steering column will relock. The only thing we have left to do is plug everything in to the push to start module, fasten this box as well as all of the wiring neatly under the dash, and reinstall the clamshell and lower dash panel. The install is now complete. Go ahead and reconnect the vehicle battery. Now, all you need to do is swipe one of your keys over the antenna, put your foot on the brake, press the button, and the car will start right up.